But yeah, this looks fantastic.
I believe that Sonic Prime is the best Sonic series so far we have ever received.
Automatically my favorite Sonic show.
Probably going to be considered the best Sonic cartoon to this point.
I think the biggest problem with Sonic Prime is how it undercuts itself.
Sonic Prime Season 2 is kinda mid.
I would give Sonic Prime as a whole a 3 out of 10. I can never see myself going back to the show ever again.
Unnecessary is today's word of the day. What elements do you think of when you hear a new Sonic show is being announced? Iconic zones, a lot of characters we know and love, good characterization, 2D animation? Netflix and Sega have decided to ignore all of that for this. As someone who would put themselves in the neutral part of the fan base, meaning I rarely hate Sonic content, I usually just find it mid or good most of the time, I felt that again with Sonic Prime. Until I didn't. Sonic and multimedia are something that have been going hand in hand lately, and so at the time, Sonic Prime was exactly what we needed to go alongside the movies and the video games that were coming out. A simple version of media to attract more people and have running for a while. Everything about it sounded promising. The animation, even though I feel like I speak for most people when I say we want that style of 2D. We've had it before. And now look at what you guys are doing for the games. Bring it to us. The animation though looked nothing short of fluent and fun, bringing the squash and stretch exaggeration that fits Sonic. So A+. The cast was an interesting choice before the show came out, but again, the first little teaser, Devin Mack, Ian Hanlon? Okay, we got a good cast too. The synopsis was a little shaky because to do many universes are hard. To actually maintain and keep them good is extremely difficult. But oh, Ian Flynn is a part. Let's hope he's a part just as much so he can influence them in a good way. Maybe I'm wrong, but there was nothing short of straight joy from the fan base while we waited for the show to arrive. And then season 1 did. False promise is now the word of the day. Okay, so I'm not going to go through each episode and review it. This video would be hours long, but I am going to give an overall premise of each season and say how I felt about it and kind of like the general consensus about it. The opening episode is 40 minutes long and introduces us to the Paradox Prism and 9, two things we have to keep in mind throughout the entire show. 9 and Sonic go to other shadow spaces to try and get back the prism pieces that Sonic had shattered apart, so Sonic can run around his home. Green Hill? The fact that this is Game Sonic is baffling when you think about it. Sonic does not have a home. Why is this considered Green Hill as home? What? Anywho, Sonic and 9 in this season aren't necessarily friends yet until 9 starts to appreciate Sonic more. The first and last episode of the season, in my opinion, are the ones that matter the most and the ones that are just entertaining. The middle is just fluff if you ask me. The locations they visit outside of the first place we encounter, New York City, are honestly forgettable. Alongside the characters. Sure, they're different variants of the ones we know and love, so they have different hobbies and such, but to me, they even failed that. Them, at their core, is just gone. Knuckles, the pirate version of him, the dread guy. He's a pirate, of course he's gonna be greedy, but I don't know, to cater to the fans, maybe say his crew means the world to him because it's all he has left, or because his last crew died, or he's a hothead with a short temper, something like that, something that ties back into the Knuckles that we know. And that's just one example because I feel like they're all pretty blaring. But to this point, most people still felt potential after the season finale. Again, first and last episodes, pretty great from season 1. Dread's dude ends up with the shard. Again, the animation is very fluent. The scenery this time clashes with the story, and it's a fun time. And that cliffhanger, dude, pretty solid. As you may have noticed, I haven't talked about Shadow much, and I want to wait on that still. But man, not a perfect season, but it's going on the right path, right? This season is a step above the last, but the bar was pretty low anyway, so that doesn't say much. Once again, they fall into this pattern. Episodes 1 and 8 are the best, while everything else is fluff. I'm not gonna lie, I thought 6 was pretty good. We stand Chaos Sonic over here. But really, on my rewatch even, I can't help but notice Sonic Prime really doesn't have much going for it narratively after each first episode of each season. The thread of the series is the Chaos Council, and they're a lousy excuse for Eggman variants. Oh, there is personality split up. They had an opportunity to do something so much cooler with him. What the hell? So we see the pattern, but what's so bad about it? To put it simply, it just feels like one big fight. Talking a bit here, chatter a bit there. Then it's just fight after fight, and it feels like a blur. That is until the season finale rolls around. This was my favorite episode in the series. We got Sonic and Shadow working together. The Chaos Council are more than just separate incognitive brain pieces. Sonic goes what is Prime Sonic? I don't know what it technically is called. It doesn't look super raw, but it's nice. And 9. Oh, 9. This is what left people in a frenzy and giving the show one more redemption point. Sonic Prime's Season 2 ending.
Trust me! Trust you? The only person I can trust is myself.
Leaving the show in such an open-ended place and finally tapping into the story regardless of it being for kids. The chips were on the table. The story was set. 9 has the prism. Sonic and Shadow together against the maniac with the world literally in his palm to create. What will they do? Who might they call on? How might this series conclude? Disappointment. I wasn't expecting peak, that'd be asking a lot from this show, but man, at least land on your feet, even if it's wobbly. This season is forgettable, bland, boring, I could use so many words, but hey, they broke the mold. The first and last episode aren't the best, and it really isn't close. None of the episodes are the best, or strongest. I'd say any episode Shadow's in, but again, it's not many, and it's not for long. I don't know how you give a character the power to create whatever world pieces they want, and you don't have fun with it, even a little. This shit wasn't fun at all. Like, what am I looking at? You know how I said everything was one big fight? Well, literally this time, everything is one big fight. Episodes 3 through 6 in season 3, you're stuck in the Grim, doing the same thing for 20 minutes, 3 times. Like, I don't know what to say because that's the criticism. The potential is there, seriously. They just ignored it. Then on top of it, they don't do anything fun for the last episode. 9 being redeemed was expected. Even the Chaos Council jumping back in to be the end villain was expected. But to basically give Sonic another chance, pull an 06 to restart, then give an ambiguous ending to as if they just go on the same adventure on repeat? How do you fumble that badly, my guy? This season, I can say, even the people who like Prime felt disappointed because there wasn't much to celebrate. Except one person. The one shining star of the show was our baby boy himself. That being said, they know they cooked with Shadow when they got Dog out here smiling. That is not easy to do. Especially with Shadow, you can't just implement that on him without it being peak. All silly points aside, the voice acting, direction, the placement of Shadow was all good. But I have to ask, why not put him in more parts? You're telling me him and Sonic couldn't have won a full-time adventure that last season against 9. They had to literally throw Shadow's character in a hole with no great explanation to why he never came back up sooner. It was so weird. They avoided their best character. Should have known we were cooked. Let me say before I slander, different interpretations of an iconic character are great. It keeps the character alive and less stagnant, as long as you use the core elements that, make the character the character. I don't see a problem with having a new or different approach with that character. With that being said, Sonic Prime fails this for one reason. This alone screws up the ideology that Sonic can now be different. Sonic and Sonic Prime is nothing like Sonic in the games, and it's no secret. But because it's said that this is canon to the games, which is stupid may I add, I can't help but say this is a bad portrayal of Sonic. We know video game Sonic's snarky, witty, this dude is straight up an ass sometimes. And then here, he's more of an emotional, over-loving character, very pacifist-esque version of Sonic. No matter how I word it, this interpretation of Sonic is just wrong by what we see in this show. Even though I have to say, I'm not gonna lie, I kinda like this version of Sonic. I really do. Now that Sonic Prime is officially over with no more runtime in the future, Sega has to take a look at this and be like, man, we sold the bag. Not that it could go on forever, but if the story was just better, I'm sure Sega and Netflix could have figured something out to tap into the majority of the characters this world has to offer. Even though Sonic Prime was not the baby-eyed thing that every Twitter user claims, turn down the Mickey Mouse music! It still isn't ideal. Of course it did numbers for kids, but if you're marketing it for both your older fans and kids, you gotta give us more to work with here than this. Kinda like another show that we had, just definitely not as bad. These are valuable lessons though, and I hope the next Sonic show will be much better. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. This road to 1K is almost complete at the time of this recording. We are 14 away, so please consider taking a look at my channel. If you like plush content, I do it here, story driven as well. And if you like discussion videos or these essay style videos, I do them here as well. Liking the video as well also gets us out to more people, so if you enjoyed this, hit this video with a like and it'll help me out a lot. With that being said, I love you guys. Wear your socks. Peace.
Coffee.